Do we got some controversy today as Fox Sports leaves Colston Loveland out of the top 10 rookies from last year? We're talking a little bit about that. We're also going to talk about the players that ESPN predicts the Chicago Bears should draft. All that plus a little bit of the mailbag right after this. What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host, Derek Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today, y'all. And I want to talk about this a little bit, right? The expectations versus the reality for the NFL draft for the Chicago Bears. Of course, fans are flocking towards that must lock in to drafting a defensive lineman mindset, whereas Ryan Poles has always talked about flexibility and has really always gone outside the box with what he does and how he views the draft. Now, sometimes that does coincide with kind of the public mindset on what the Chicago Bears should do in the draft. Sometimes it does, often it does not, right? And so I think the thing that we're looking at the most in this draft for the Chicago Bears, it does come down to flexibility. And I do think there's a huge chance that Ryan Poles is going to shock some people with what he does in the first round of this draft. Now, that could be being more aggressive about moving up and getting that defensive lineman. It could be drafting a different position other than defensive lineman in the first round. It could be, just the way he maneuvers all throughout it. And by the end of it, we're like, damn, he put that together, right? Like, there's a lot of different avenues and routes to go in this draft. Now, I said it before, us as fans, we lock into what I call fan brain, meaning that we lock into just what on paper we feel like we should be doing, and then we try to lock in and just do that. And that's not always how the way it works out, so to say, right? And so you'll see what's going to happen with that with the Chicago Bears. But I want to be clear here. Do not be surprised if the name that you hear called is not a defensive lineman to start off this draft. And I want to be clear on that. But for what it's worth, in that, we do have the probability odds that now have come from ESPN, and they've used their whole little advanced thing to give percentages on what player the Chicago Bears should draft, right? And Peter Woods actually comes in at the highest percent, at an 8% chance that the Bears take Peter Woods at number 25. Now, most people know Peter Woods is the defensive tackle out of Clemson. This is a guy that I think his ability to win with a quickness and the hand technique that he has is excellent. He's just gonna have to make a step in his development to really kind of be more consistent in some things. But the scheme versatility that he offers is really good. He can fit into a lot of different schemes as far as the gaps and stuff like that. Even play a little bit as a 3-tech. So you see that one. Next up, they have Cassius Howe, the edge out of Texas A&M, at a 7.5% chance to be drafted by the Chicago Bears. He's not the consistency is the one part that stands out with him that I would say, but this is a guy that wins a high rate as a run stopper when it comes down to it. He's very athletic as an edge as well, which you really love when it comes down to it. He's going to be a great pass rusher as well. The versatile kind of game and being able to stop the run and the pass, that's going to be something that he potentially could bring to any defensive line in the NFL. And then they have Emmanuel McNeill-Warren, the safety out of Toledo, a guy that starting to commonly go to the Chicago Bears via a lot of these mocks. We already have said what you can do with him. The schematic part of it, of being able to use him at just about any position, in that secondary that you want to, capability of leaving him inside the box, outside the box, run blitzing him, pass blitzing him. Like, he has so much scheme versatility, and that is really where it seems like the Bears are trying to make their bread or butter in this one, is the versatility in the scheme that Dennis Allen has. So I love that one. Next up, a wide receiver with a 5.7% chance at Casey Concepcion. Here's the thing. He already has a drop issue, right? And if the Bears go wide receiver in round one, I really do think Bears fans are going to absolutely ride. I think you can sell them on going safety because it's still a starter and a need. If the Bears somehow go wide receiver in the first round of this draft, I would almost, the chaotic person in me, the nature that I have, wants to just see how Bears fans are going to react to that, because I think the reaction is going to be batshit ass crazy. If I'm being 100% frank, I think it's going to be absolutely crazy if the Chicago Bears draft a wideout in round one. But hey, I guess we'll see. With another 5.2% chance, they have Caleb Lamu, who's the offensive tackle out of Utah. Now, I have not scouted this guy very much because I don't think we're going to go tackle first round. I just really don't think that. I know that there has been some talk from Courtney Cronin and some other speculation that it could do that. I mean, he does have an NFL-ready skill set, that's for sure, right? He has really good upside as a long-term starter in the league. So you're going to go that, but it would definitely feel like a little bit of a reach if you go offensive tackle in the first round. But hey, per Courtney Cronin's words, and she's around this team a lot more than me, you never know. Keldrick Falk is the next guy, the edge out of Auburn with a 5.12% chance. Here's the thing, right? The when you watch Keldrick Falk and the tape on him, you see that, he's developing the skills that you need, right? He's 21 years old, but I don't think he's there. He'll make a huge impact on the defensive line right away. And so I don't know if you go that with number 25, or you can have some guys that can maybe make more of an impact right away, but maybe don't have the long-term upside of a Keldrick Falk. I don't know, but hey, tell me what you think on that one. Akeem Messidor, a 5% chance to be taken there by the Chicago Bears at edge there at number 25. The thing just comes down to it is I don't think most people are going to think he's going to be available there, right? We'll see. This is a guy that plays with nothing but absolute go mode all the time, right? Which you love to be there. He's a 3-down NFL starter. There's just no doubt about that. And the packages that you can build around him as well are just crazy, right? Then you have Blake Miller coming in at a 5% chance as an offensive tackle out of Clemson. Go back to what I said about the tackle before. Would be surprised if Ryan Poles takes a tackle in round 1. But then again, like I tell you guys, you can't be married to just one position because Ryan Poles is probably going to go outside the box in different ways than you think in the NFL draft. So we'll see with that one. He can, play try to play left tackle. I think he's more of a right tackle though. So that's where some of the stuff brings questions that you bring. But hey, there you go on that one. And then Dylan Finneman, at safety out of Oregon with a 4.7% chance to be taken at number 25. That's if he's still on the board. It seems like either him or Emmanuel McNeil-Warren are going to be on the board unless any trades happen, but you still can never really bet on that. So he's the other guy that has a good chance according to ESPN's analytics. And then there's a couple other people. Ty Simpson, the quarterback out of Alabama, with a 4.2% chance. Omar Cooper, the wide receiver out of Indiana, with a 4.12% chance as well. Caden McDonald, the defensive tackle out of Ohio State, with a 3.75% chance. So there's chances all over the place with the Chicago Bears. And if you're Ryan Poles, that's the spot that you really want to be in. You want to be in a spot where you can be a little bit unpredictable. So we'll see what the Chicago Bears do. I want to hear from you guys on this one. Like, if the Bears do go, I know I said don't be surprised if they don't go defensive line, but if they go one of these really positions that nobody's expecting, like, we're talking about corner, well, not cornerback, I don't think, but wide receiver, offensive tackle, like how would you react to that? And for real, how would you react to that? Let me know what you guys think on that part down below. But I think when it comes down to it, like, you just got to trust in Ryan Poles. The best player philosophy that he has worked more than it hasn't. There are some things that definitely blow up in his face about it, but we'll see in this case. Like, I just calm down a little bit. I think we'll be okay though. All right. With that said, I want to talk about the disrespect that we're seeing towards Colston Loveland. So, Fox Sports had their list of top 10 most best rookies out of the 2025 class. And Colston Loveland, despite finishing with 58 receptions, 713 yards, 6 touchdowns, right, one of the best at his position overall in football, did not list him in the top 10. They did list him as an honorable mention, right, where it came down to. But, I don't understand where it came down to that one. Tyler Warren, for example, ranked higher than Colston Loveland on that list. He ranked 4th on the same list. So I don't understand how that could possibly happen. Colston Loveland had one of the best seasons for a tight end in football. As a matter of fact, he had one of the best receiving seasons in the NFL overall. How is that not a top 10 player? A top 10 rookie? How is that not a top 10 rookie? Is the question that I have. And it just goes back to the same old shit. There's so much media doubt around Chicago and what Chicago does. And anything that we do, that other teams do, or whatever else, it's always looked at as a fluke when in Chicago. And frankly, it pisses me off sometimes. It is what it is. Like, there's no way around it. But, like, I think when you look at just, like, what Colston Loveland did, both as a blocker and as a pass catcher last season, like, I don't understand how you can keep overlooking that. I'm not saying that gassing and, like, he's shown himself to be one of the best players overall in football. But, like, when you see tight ends and when you see what he's done, and that's why I say, like, the season that's coming up for Colston Loveland, best believe he's taking notices of all of that. And Ben Johnson is going to use that for motivation, and as this team should, because there's always so much doubt around anything the Bears do good. They cast more doubt on it than saying, hey, look, that's a good thing. It's more so, how can we break this down and make this look like it's not as good as what it is? And that is the constant way that the Chicago Bears are always covered in the NFL. And it's just fucking stupid. And it's silly, right? Like, I get it. I'm a Bears fan. I'm always going to look at my team probably more favorably than the national media does and shit like that. But, like, it comes down to this, like, when you objectively look at football and you look at all the ways that the Chicago Bears were better when Colston Loveland was on the football field, how do you look at that in a rank for rookies? It'd be different if you're talking about top 10 players in the NFL. Do I expect Colston Loveland to be on that list yet? No, come on. But when you talk about rookies, there's just no way that you can try to convince me that Colston Loveland wasn't one of the best and most impactful 10 rookies in the league last year. And it's honestly just stupid, and it keeps going to the disrespect, but it's cool. I don't even want the respect no more, because we're going to come in, and when we surprise you guys again and everybody's labeling it as, oh, who would have thought the Bears would do this again? All right, cool. Watch what I tell you. So, it is what it is. I just wanted to talk a little bit about it because it frustrates me a little bit, but, we'll see what the future does hold for that one. With that said, it is Friday. That means it is mailbag day. Let's get into your voicemails. This first one that we have, this one's from Darius.
What's going on, guys? Darius Dallas, man. I just want to call in and try to defend my position one more time on why we should not be drafting a tackle with the first pick, with that number 25 pick. Okay. It just doesn't. He won't even. Everybody's talking about that Proctor kid from Alabama. Okay. I don't personally think this year is that deep in tackle, and I think that's really the only reason why this kid gets talked about. In the deep tackle class, this kid's probably going second round, maybe third. Okay, he's got the size, but he's not one of them bona fide left tackles that you would just, drool over in the GM. He's just not. Okay, and so if it weren't for the fact that we had a left tackle that went down and got hurt, we wouldn't even be considering it. Okay, we struck gold last year with a guy in Ozzie Billow that looked like he was going to be the future left tackle. So we're going to draft a guy at his position. And, I know Hayes mentioned, well, he might not ever come back the way he used to be. Okay, fine. Then we draft another tackle next year with the first round pick and potentially a better left tackle draft class. God, we just don't have to. We're not going to be able to fix all the holes this year. Okay, and there's no way that you're telling me in a draft that's super deep in defensive tackle, super deep. It's just about every defensive position other than corner. I don't see how you're looking at that number 25 pick, how any scenario could happen, and the left tackle is the best player available. I think if we go left tackle there, I won't doubt Ryan Foles. I'll just assume that he sees something in him that I don't, and he's got my trust. But just looking at it from the surface level without this much, inside information, it just don't make sense. It just don't make sense, man. I can't fathom making that move. I think that's a reach. I think that you're drafting for need instead of best player available there. And Foles hasn't done that so far, so I don't think he will anyway. I think it's Bears fan speculation, but let me know what you think on that. And I want to piss Hayes off one more time with my potential moving a cornerback to safety. He's gonna drag me to the bus. That's okay. I heard Dennis Allen, a couple months ago mention, the idea of putting Kyler Gordon back there. And I just want to know, man, what do you take that serious? Do you think it's a part-time thing, or do you think Kyler? But he's a great athlete, man. He could have some potential to go back there and free safety and training camp and just blow people away. You never know. So let me know what you think. Since it's up here now.
I think you're worried about a lot that I don't think is much ado about nothing. I don't think the Bears are going to go tackle in the first round. I do think they'll probably take a tackle in this draft for depth to bring in some competition. I do think that. But in the first round, I just highly doubt it. But, I mean, hey, the thing that I said that I would rather see is the Bears go after and get a guy that could play tackle or guard, right, or a center guard or something like that, somebody who can play multiple positions, because that player long-term is probably going to be depth if Ozzie Trapillo gets back. Like you said, there is a chance that Ozzie is never the same player. That is just a reality of that injury. There is a chance of that. But I like you said, you can go tackle kind of. You got some other things you need to worry about, I think, in this one. But Ryan Poles sees the world differently. We all know that he could very well try to go tackle early in this draft, and we just have to live with it, right? As far as Kyler to safety, when Dennis Allen said that, I think he more so meant the versatility in the lineups. I don't think you're going to see a permanent position switch for Kyler Gordon. I think you are going to see sometimes with the number of defensive backs, how he likes to move some up to linebacker, drop some back in coverage, inside the box, outside the box. I do think you're going to see some crazy lineups at times, but I don't think you're going to see a permanent position switch for Kyler Gordon to anyone. You're always trying to switch positions of we have not seen that under the tenure of this Bears team. I think they'll rather draft somebody to be in that position to try to turn somebody into a safety, especially when Kyler is one of the best nickel corners in the league. That's my personal opinion. All right, let's get into this next one, man. This one's from Fred.
Hey, yo, Hayes, what up, man? It's your boy Fred. What it do, man? Hey, man, I'm just ready for the draft, man. I know everybody got their mock draft everything every year and all that, and I get that, man. And shout out to the Cognac boys, man. Bobby and C-Dub, man. And also the Big Cav, man, and Steve-O as well, too, man. Glad to see y'all guys doing good, man. Love the show, man. I love how you let the fans, get off and you interact right back with the fans, man. Keep it up, Hayes. Keep going, brother. You and, to the guys, Pat Design and all you guys, man. You know what I'm saying? Good, solid brothers. But yeah, hey, now, if the Bears get another DT, that's just hypothetically, if the Bears get another DT in the draft, not on that though, and let's say Shamar Turner just dominate, you still get the same results with Dexter. What do you do? Do you think we get rid of, we gonna trade Dexter if both of them outperform him and, and everything? Or, do we keep rolling with him? You know what I'm saying? But overall, though, man, I think the Bears gonna have a good draft. They gonna get some key guys up in here who's willing, they're gonna come in and be ready to contribute and to, make a name for themselves. Cause people doubting us, people think we ain't on shit, and people think our season was a fluke, man. The media and everybody better put some respect on our goddamn name. And then the disrespect to rank Ben Johnson. Then y'all got the nerve to put Matt LaFleur in the goddamn, top 10 over Ben Johnson? And he lost, every first round of the playoffs? Come on, man. What is we doing here, bro? Come on, man. But it's all good. Like Ben Johnson said, he lit some fire under their ass, and it's up to them to step up and take the challenge, though. Because I'm definitely looking forward to see what's going on, with this draft, though, and be in tune with y'all as well when y'all go live for the draft. So, yeah, man, I just want to check in with you, though, big dog, man, and make sure everything all good with you, man. Everyone be safe. Everybody keep calling and supporting the show, man. Chicago up, bear down to nothing. Let's get it.
I do think the plan is for Dexter to continue to prove himself. You're going to try to bring in somebody that contrasts and complements Gervon Dexter well, and that they can pair very well in that interior defensive line. I think that's the most of what you see. I don't think you see, and let me say this, right? Poles is going to play in long term. He's going to allow Gervon Dexter to prove and earn his extension, but he's also not stupid. He's not just going to let a player go. I know Bears fans are really harsh on Gervon Dexter, I think, because they're looking for him to do something that, not a lot of defensive tackles do. Not every defensive tackle is great in the run and in the pass. Gervon is really good in pass coverage. In the run defenses, it leaves a lot to be desired. That's why I think you have to upgrade that around him. But we'll see. I'm also not saying that Gervon Dexter is locked in to get a contract extension. I think it can go really either way. It really depends on what he shows, how Ryan Poles views the board, and what the contract extension of him and his agent are looking for. But I do think this draft is going to have a lot of unexpected turns. Not only just for the Bears, but I think for the league overall, there are going to be some teams that do some things that we don't expect. That's just the reality of it. That's what happens. And I don't see any reason why that's going to change for the Chicago Bears now. So that's my thought process. But great voicemail there, Fred. And thank you for the love, too. We all appreciate it. I'll say this, everybody, it's a labor of love, man. We all love doing this job. We all love being here talking about this team. And we're blessed that we get to cover it for a living. And that's because of you guys, the listeners and the viewers. So we appreciate y'all. All right, let's get into this last voicemail, man. This one's from Maine.
Yo, what's going on, fellas? This Maine from the South Side, a.k.a. Mr. T Forward. Hey, I just wanted to make a few comments, man. I just heard the video on the article that you were talking about, anyhow, about the players who probably won't, the probability of them being here next year. The T.J. Edwards, which you was kind of confused about, Hayes in particular. Man, I see it, unfortunately. I love T.J., and TJ is a dog, but he a dog for a different system. I think DA is looking for that straight speed in that middle. He looking for them coverage linebackers because we gonna be in nickel most of the time, and the other times dime. And when we in dime, Devin Bush gonna be the only linebacker on that field. So TJ really is expendable at this point in this type of system. Not only that, you saw what DeMarco Jackson did when he replaced him last year. That speed, that explosiveness, is just a little different. TJ a dog and got great instincts, man, but he can't cover no more. That's just kind of what it is. He ain't got the speed for it. But I wanted to throw another scenario out there real quick, man, just because I told y'all even before the season started last year that Luther Burden in 2 years will be our best wide receiver. But at this point, I think that timeline has been sped up since DJ Moore, our previous best wide receiver, just got traded. I think Rome still has all the ability in the world. However, I think that rack, that run and catch that Luther got, just kind of separates him from Rome. And we know, they both were first round talents, even though Luther got picked in the second round. Definitely a first round talent, and we see it playing out now. But just thinking long term, man, down the line, when you think about it, because how it lines up, we got to sign Darnell this year or next year. Right after that, we got to get Caleb and possibly Rome on an extension. Seeing now that we got something similar to what Cincinnati had, possibly if Caleb can continue to improve his accuracy and rival Joe Burrow, what Joe Burrow did, and Rome can get them hands together and kind of play that T. Higgins role, Luther can be our chaser, and Colston is just something more dynamic than what they had. So just looking into the future, man, I don't think we're going to be able to keep all this young talent and keep that defense together. So question is, it's going to have to be Luther or Rome. Because you want to keep coasting. So let me know. Luther or Rome, bro. All right, man. I ain't want to keep y'all. I know I'm going to get cut off soon, but I just wanted to let y'all, I wanted to know, Luther or Rome, man, because you're going to have to keep one of them. I think regardless, we'll still be good because the offense going to.
I wouldn't say that TJ isn't a fit for the system. Not every linebacker is going to drop back in coverage. If that was going to be the case, we wouldn't have re-signed Jack Sanborn. So I don't think that that's the thing. I think it's more so the money aspect, and I just think Ryan Poles always likes to stay ahead of the game when it comes down to it. So if TJ is not on this team, we'll see. I think it's going to take a lot for TJ Edwards not to be on this team because of how instrumental he has been for the Chicago Bears. You improve that defensive line, and you already see how disruptive TJ Edwards is. Hey, that going to make him even more disruptive, right? So, we'll see what happens in that one. Like, it's football, though. If they moved on, like Kevin Byard was great here. The Bears moved on from him. So I think it depends on how much of an upgrade Ryan Poles legitimately thinks he can get. And then also, like, what the next contract could be looking at. As far as Luther's an amazing talent. And I think I say don't count out Rome, but at this point, does it matter? Like, I don't want to play players on our team against each other. To me, we have two guys that both have tremendous talent that's going to fill out that wide receiver room, that's going to be weapons for Caleb Williams for a long time. That's what matters more than who's better, who's the number one, whatever. Let both these guys thrive. And I think that's the thing in the place that we're at. But yeah, y'all, that's going to do it for today. The draft is right around the corner, and I'm telling y'all right now, do not be surprised if Ryan Poles does something that not anybody sees coming. But I want to hear from you guys down below. What position do you think the Bears should target outside of defensive line? What do you think should be the priority? And how do you feel about the disrespect of Colston Loveland? Drop your thoughts in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Make sure you guys are following us at Shy Bear Central on every social media platform. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. And lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. That is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, but Bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.